Welcome everyone to episode 7 of my Help with Maths homework series. Today we're going to look at finding equations of lines passing through a point, but with a twist. Okay, so I had a comment that most of my videos are targeted high level maths. Well, remember, all my new videos are now based on your comments. So just comment below what you want. Alright, let's get started. So today's question is, find the equation of all lines that pass through a point 6, negative 1, such that the product of the x and y intercept is 3. Now that's the twist, that last part. This is why I picked this question, because that's a unique one. So our starting point is, let's get the line y equals mx plus b. Right, that's the gradient intercept line. So we need to find all values of m and b that satisfy the conditions in the question. So the first condition, it passes through the point 6, negative 1. So that means let's just sub that in. And we're going to get negative 1 equals 6m plus b. That's our first equation, right? So we have to find m and b, that's two unknowns. So remember, two unknowns means we need two equations. We've got one equation. To get the next equation, we'll use the other piece of information that the product of the x and y intercept is 3. Now the y-intercept is simply b, right? Because the equation is in the form y equals mx plus b, that's the intercept form. Now to get the x-intercept, we just let y equals b. Sorry, we just let y equals 0. So 0 equals mx plus b, and now we solve for x. So just take b to the other side, mx equals negative b, divide by m, x equals negative b on m. So the product of the x and y intercept equals 3 means negative b on m times b equals 3, which simplifies to negative b squared on m equals 3. Remember, when you're timesing fractions with numbers, you times the tops bottom with the bottom. So we can rearrange that to get negative b squared equals 3m, or m equals negative b squared on 3. And that's our second equation. The reason we write it like that is because now, in order to find m and b, we solve the equation simultaneously, and I can just substitute m equals negative b squared on 3 into the first equation, negative 1 equals 6m plus b. So if we do that, that'll simplify to negative 1 equals negative 2b squared plus b. So now that looks like a quadratic equation. So all we have to do is rearrange it, put it in a standard form of a quadratic equation. So bring everything to one side and we get 2b squared minus b minus 1 equals 0. So now in order to solve b, we will factorize it. Now I have a nice trick to factorize it, so I'm going to do it instantly. We're going to get brackets b minus 2 over 2, b plus 1 over 2 equals 0. So then we get b equals 1 and negative a half. So if you want to know the trick I have for factorizing non-monic quadratic that quickly, make sure to comment below, and that can be my Friday trick, right? So now we have the values of b, 1 and negative half. So what we're going to do now is find the values of m that correspond to each b value. So remember, we know that m equals negative b squared on 3. So if we sub b equals 1, m equals negative a third. If we sub b equals negative a half, we'll get m equals negative 1 over 12. Like if you're stuck, you can just plug into a calculator at this point if you're really stuck. So now we have corresponding b and m values. So we're just going to make sure we answer the question. So we sub the values of b and m in, and we get y equals negative half x plus 1. That's the first equation. And then the second equation, y equals negative a 12x minus a half. So those are the two lines that go through the point 6, negative 1, and their product of the x and y intercepts is 3. So that's it for today's Help with Maths homework. So if you enjoyed today's video on finding the equation of line passing through a point with a special twist, don't forget to subscribe, share, like the video, comment below, especially comment what you want to see future videos on. Otherwise, I'll see you Friday.